based on
the
wins.
Bengals. It's look. You don't even need it to look at anything to know once again what their big need on offense is. They
Yeah.
still have to figure out a way to fix the offensive line. And
Mm-hmm.
look, Jonah Williams has not really turned out to be the guy that they had hoped.
You're
Throwing
right.
the
I mean, that's
injuries,
yep.
it's not working out. Not to say that he won't be here after this year. His contract will be up. I don't know if he's restricted or not, but fact is they've got to get another tackle. That's just obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at this team, you could probably live another year, with Karras at center if you have to, and you should draft Volson. He got some experience, so maybe you're okay there. And Cap is okay as well, so you're okay there. Maybe what you do is you draft a center guard type guy early enough, but the number one pick on this team, if the right guy is there, has got to be tackle. And if that's the case, what are we looking at there?
Yeah, you're looking at maybe Anton Harrison from Oklahoma, Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse, Bernard Jones. I think he's going to be gone by that point. I mean, I think one of those two guys, as of right now, are looking at maybe credible first round grades, leaning heavier towards Anton Harrison. Reminds me of Cordy Glenn, actually, out of Georgia, played on the Bengals years ago. Similar type player.
Oh yeah.
But just in terms of like his size, his frame, doesn't bend that well, but he gets his hands on you. He's just great at mirroring. Like, that's what I think they need. A guy with a real anchor, which Jonah Williams does not have, and that can just simply mirror pass rushers. And if they do fix the left tackle spot, that changes everything on that offensive line. I think that's the piece, because you can tell that the pocket was just shrinking from that backside. It was also paired with their rookie from North Dakota State, Volson, who you have to assume will take a little bit of a jump up next year. At least you would hope that. If that side of the ball can get fixed, I think a lot changes on that offense. So this could be a team that I could see trading up.
With a lot of cap space, though, I don't know yet. Haven't dived into who's going to be potentially available, because any offensive tackle that's worth anything usually isn't available. So,
yeah, I mean, Taylor Lewan might have a good shot.
Play?
I think so. I think if he can go to a contender like this and try to win a Super Bowl,
that's a good one, yeah.
But this is where it's tough to project if they should spend money to get this pick.
Oh, I think they should do both.
They're about to pay Burrow and Chase. I mean, those contracts are coming up.
But I like that approach, though, of going with a 1-year deal guy and then first round draft pick.
Yes, that would be smart. Yeah. A 1-year deal, and then hey, if the first round draft pick comes in and just absolutely starts tossing guys around left and right, find another spot for him on the line.
Yeah, Lewan can play right tackle, and Jonah Williams can move inside the guard.
Yeah, right. I mean, they need to make a change. I think we're both in agreement there. And whether it's the rookie, the veteran, both move the guys around. They cannot go into next year with this same starting five. And I even think they need to beef up the depth as well.
And then at the skill positions, they do need to add one more wide receiver. Because especially when they have an injury, they just don't have any depth. I mean, Trent Irwin is getting, and even Trent Taylor, they shouldn't be out there as much as they are. So they have to, and they got to decide what to do with Hayden Hurst. I didn't think he was a bad pickup, but I think all three of their tight ends, their top tight ends, are free agents, including Hurst.
Yeah, they are.
So that becomes, that could even be an early, second round, third round option. And like you've said, it's a very good year for tight ends.
It is.
So just imagine Joe Burrow with another weapon.
Right. I mean, I think that's what makes a lot of sense is if Hurst does leave, and this will be the second year in a row.
Just like you talked about, though, why would he want to leave Cincinnati? With all that money that they have to spend, if he can't figure out a way to all right, you can keep the extra $500,000. I'll stay with the Bengals.
Yeah. And it's also, what if Cincinnati wants a more dynamic threat there? That's one thing I've been thinking about. Like, if they had a Travis Kelce type athlete, all right, you're not going to go find Travis Kelce randomly in the draft. But if you could find that kind of athlete for the position, I think it can change that passing game and just add some balance to where they throw the ball.
Sure.
Right? I mean, they're so wide receiver dependent that if they had someone that could even just make some plays after the catch. I mean, I think that can make a big difference for the offense.
And then at defense, I think they need a number one corner. Now, I don't know if
Okay.
they're going to get it in this draft, especially because they need offensive linemen. I don't know if they're going to spend money. Maybe they'll spend money. Maybe they'll go out and they'll get a guy, sign a couple of years, James Bradbury type, bring in another guy that maybe. But fact is they can use a future number one. And again, I don't know whether or not they can do that this year with their offensive line needs. But we all know safety is just a big, big potential hole with both guys free agents. And there's a lot of talk. I remember going over with our Bengal analyst earlier in the year that he just didn't believe Bates would be back after coming back this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the number one need I have for them on defense is right in the middle of that field, right in the middle of the secondary. Don't forget they did draft Dax Hill in the first round last year, so he'll be a
maybe they
part.
re-signed Bell, and then they're okay.
Yeah, they complement each other pretty well. Bell's in the box, tackling safety, won't make many plays on the ball, and Dax Hill is kind of the opposite, a little bit more coverage. Thought we'd see more of him this year. I don't know if there was things he just wasn't picking up on or wasn't contributing enough in comparison to the guys in front of him. So I'm just wondering if there's something going on there. I could see a day 2, early day 3 pick on a safety group, like I said. Deeper group than I initially thought it would be when you're talking about that area of the draft.
I think it might have been a scheme thing, though, because they use Hilton so much.
Right.
And Bates and Bell play all the time that I just don't think there was much room for Dax Hill to play, to tell you the truth. That's just my guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hope for their sake, I hope that's the case. Right? Because that kid's talented. Yes. I loved him at Michigan. I mean, he's as quick and as explosive and has a great feel for the ball. I trust him when the ball's in the air as well. It could just be that just couldn't break through the depth chart in year 1.
And they got to re-sign Pratt, so they'll be able to do that, no problem. So they're set there. But they also can use a little bit of depth, edge rusher, because Osai had the injury last year and hasn't shown much this year so far. So they can use that extra edge guy for depth with this 4-3 unit. And I think on defense, though, I think the number one need is corner, because why would I really want to bring back Eli Apple?
No,
I mean, I got to get another corner. And I know, again, even if it's not first round or like we said, use it in free agency. It's probably the best way to do it is go and get yourself a free agent corner.
Yep, I agree with you. I also could see a little bit of a hole at running back behind Joe Mixon. Samaje Perine a free agent this year. Trayvon Williams, Chris Evans, haven't seen much out of them. They haven't been in the league long, so maybe you give them a look at the number 2 job. But I think there's an opportunity to add a little bit more speed, a little bit more spark behind Joe Mixon.